was close as...
What's up, guys? Midwestern RC, and you are here because the DBXLE is on sale and you're wondering if you should buy one. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, well, I think you should, but I'm going to tell you why you should, and if you're on a budget, and if you're new to large scale, I'm going to tell you why you might not want to buy one, or at least what you should expect after you buy one and make the purchase. Because these are ridiculously fun.
There we go.
I don't think you can compare it to an X Max. I don't think you can compare it to a Crate 8S. I don't think you can compare it to an Outcast. They just feel totally different than everything else. So obviously this is not stock. It has, I don't know, maybe $500–600 worth of upgrades, maybe a little more. First and foremost, the thing you're gonna wanna change is the center differential fluid. The stock fluid is 50,000. Quick lesson on differentials. The thinner the fluid, the more the power is gonna go to the front, the more this is basically a front wheel drive car. Like 90% of the power is going to the front. At least that's what it feels like to me. That's my speculation. So I changed it to 1 million fluid. You can change it to 500K. A lot of guys do that. You can earplug it. You can put 20 million in. Just depends on what you want out of it. And also it's something that's really cheap to experiment around with. I mean, earplugs are like $6. A bottle of 500K is like $8–10. A bottle of other diff fluid, again, really cheap. But it's really gonna change how this truck drives. Stock wheels or not, I think it's the first thing that should be done. So the second thing I think that should be done is the stock wheels and tires are eventually either going to break in terms of the wheel or the tire itself is going to blow. I've had both happen. I actually had a wheel crack. The wheel is the plastic part, the tire is a rubber part. Let's just keep that in mind. I've had a wheel crack, and then one time I was running it and I had a tire blow. Now I had another video on like unboxing the DBXLE and initial thoughts. I'll have the link in the description for that down below. The stock pinion is like a 13 or a 14 tooth or something like that. It is not enough for this rig. It is not enough for this truck. You can go to Speed Tech RC and you can get a nice, I think it's a mod 1.58 millimeter pinion. You can run up to an 18 tooth pinion. Now with the stock pinion, I got a blistering 44 miles an hour with this. It feels super slow. I'm just gonna say it. I put a 16 tooth on here. I have not ran it on the road. I have ran it on grass and I got 52 miles an hour. For some reason, anything that's above 50 miles an hour for me feels fast enough. Anything below that, I'm like, this thing is slow. Also with the 16 tooth pinion, instead of running a full blown 18 tooth like a lot of other people do, I've never seen the motor go above like 175, 180. And that's with a really nice temp gun. And with a better pinion, the other thing too is if you're going to bash this thing and smash this thing and crash this thing and have a lot of fun, you're going to need the extra wheel speed when you're in the air. 16 tooth pinion, more than enough for that. So if you've noticed, I do not have the stock wheels and tires on this. I have Arrma Outcast 8S wheels. You need to run wheel extenders to be able to clear the steering knuckle. So you need to run at least 1-inch wheel extenders. You can go to DGI Racing on Instagram, hit them up, and they sell 1-inch and 2-inch wheel extenders. That literally means 1 inch on each side. So this is set up with 2-inch wheel extenders, meaning it is 4 inches wider than stock. Why did I go with 2-inch instead of 1-inch? Well, let's talk about that real quick. So with the 2-inch wheel extenders, I'm widening it 4 inches. It's gonna be much more stable in the corners. And I really got this thing not with the intentions of jumping it, although I love jumping it because when you set this thing up, a little bit of money put into it, they are a blast to jump and they're actually incredibly durable. Like I was very shocked sending this thing and being like, it's breaking as it's coming down to the ground. I'm like, it didn't break. So you can run 1-inch wheel extenders or you can run 2-inch. It just depends on your preference. 2-inch, you're gonna be wider, you're gonna be more stable in the turns, but with 1-inch, you're gonna be less chances of breaking an arm or possibly a turnbuckle. Because the wider a car is, when a big heavy vehicle like this comes crashing down, if you don't land on all fours, something could break, like a turnbuckle. So DGI, not sponsored by the way, just a good company and I believe in their products. DJI makes steel turnbuckles for these. They're about $120 for the set. You might be like, holy crap, that's a lot. This is a 5th scale. It's not going to be a cheap car to upgrade and modify. But with the steel turnbuckles, you're not going to have any issues. So the stock ESC, honestly, it's not bad. I upgraded it because the Facebook groups are telling me that you need to upgrade it and it'll be faster if you upgrade to a Max 5. Well, this is a Max 5, and guess what? I don't really notice much in terms of if it's faster or not. So one of the best things that you can do for these cars, and I'm going to give you 2 options for batteries, is you can run the Genzace 6800 milliamp Bashing Pro 4S LiPos. You get decent run times out of them, depending on the pinion gear, depending on how fast you're driving. If you're in a wide open field and you're just throttling it the whole time, no matter what, you're not going to get great run times. If you're driving at a track, so that's why I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're going to get 15 minutes if you run these batteries, and you're going to get 30 minutes if you run these batteries or whatever. And it's going to be lighter than my next option. These are the Genzace 10,000 milliamp advanced lithium polymer batteries. Each cell is 4.35 volts, so you will get extra power when running these batteries. Now, the stock servo, when you upgrade the wheels and the tires, the stock servo is okay, as I would describe it. I do plan on putting a Beast 1000 from Reefs RC in here soon. On the stock BEC, on the Spectrum setup, the 160 amp, I think you can run 8.4 volts. I don't know how long the stock Spectrum servo is going to last at 8.4 volts, but in the meantime, you can bump up the BEC with the button system. There's a video on that somewhere on YouTube. Just look up how to adjust BEC, Spectrum Electronics, Spectrum ESC. Now, if you're buying this thing as a basher, you got to really be responsible, and you got to really learn the car and be patient with it and jump it very little, very slow, very little, very slow, and like get up to the bigger jumps, because these body panels are incredibly flimsy, and wow, do they come off, and they are not cheap. They are about $150 to $200 for the set. So just keep that in mind. Also, per the Facebook groups, I've had a lot of people say that their diff housings or their bulkheads, plastic, and you need to upgrade them to the Vidavon. I have not even touched the front or the rear diff. And I've put probably 16 battery packs through this truck, and I've been fine. I'm not saying that you're going to be fine. I'm just saying I've been fine. But the Vidavon upgrades are like $160 a piece, so that's $320 or something crazy, just to have them sturdy enough that they won't break. Now, I do have a lot of other videos on this truck running with different upgrades, with different pinion gears, with different center diff fluid. I will put the links in the description for those below so you guys can go watch them. If you've liked this video up until now, please consider subscribing. Please consider hitting the like button. Blah, 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 all the other YouTube stuff. But long story short, do I think this is worth $1,000? If you have the money, yes. And if you have the money to invest in it, yes. But if money is a little tighter for you, $1,000 and you want to get into a 5th scale, I would say learn to appreciate a smaller scale, or honestly, get an XRT, because they are pretty durable, and I think an XRT would be more beginner friendly than the DBXLE. The DBXLE and XRT, driving them, not really a comparison. They just drive differently, they feel differently, they have 2 different purposes. But yeah, if you have the money, and if you have the money to upgrade and fix and buy, because you're not going to be able to run this thing box stock, I think it's a good buy. But even with this thing on sale right now, if you're going to finance it, or if you have the money saved up, or if you just want one because it's on sale, might consider looking at something else. But if you've been dead set on one, and if you don't mind putting the money into it, they can be incredibly fun with, like $400 to $700 on top of the sale price. So just keep that in mind. Till next time, guys, Midwestern RC out.